6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for another transfer show. It's been a week, feels like a month. Really want to get these going, but not once a week is enough because let's face it, there's not a lot really happening at the moment. It's all gone a bit stale on the transfer front, but however, there's been some, quite massive news of Backroom staff. So we're going to cover that first of all, and then we'll have a look at the potential rumours. And hopefully Will might have something. Maybe he won't. It just all depends because apparently there's a big meeting tomorrow. So let's wait and see what happens. I'll quickly jump into the chat and I'll just say, look, guys, we'll go through all our stuff and then we'll try and get to all your questions as best as we can. I think we might have some time tonight to get to questions, which will be nice for you guys. There's a link if you want to become a member. It is only 99p. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Evening all from Leslie. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's all free. Join for 99p. Regular prize draws, Snapchat, Super Chats are available bottom right-hand corner for any donations. Evening, Andrew. Great to see you. Evening, Lee. Gary's in the house as always as well. Great to see you, mate. Let's get this mums running. Let's put a bid in for Saka. Do you know what it is? I would love to buy Saka, but I don't know why he gets so much grief. Daniel's in the house as well. Evening, mate. Evening, Magpie. Evening, everyone. Evening, Jade at work. Skiving. I love it. Evening, Big Dom. Hi, Les. Yeah, it seemed to be a website glitch on YouTube Premium sorted itself out. Happy days. Andy. It's old news now. It's been on other YouTube channels. What's old news? I haven't even said there's any news yet. Hey, Les. We also did a video on it very, very quickly, to be fair. Evening, Andrew. Fergus. Evening, Fergus. There's loads of people jumping in. Right, let's bring Ian in first. How are we doing, Ian?
All right, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked, but not shocked at the same time. Well, it's a bit of a weird one. Getting paid to watch you guys. What a life. You poor thing. That's all I'm going to say. Evening, Will.
Hello, good evening.
You've been very quiet, Will.
I know I'm not trying to force stuff out. There's not a lot happening really, if in all honesty, so I'm just trying to keep it to a good quality.
I like that. See, that's what we want. No crap. Let's keep it to what's actually happening and what we think is going to happen. That's what we're going to talk about. So Amanda, Staveley, and Mehrdad, apparently the shares have been sold. Now there's lots of rumours going around. We got a real big one in our group which we're not allowed to disclose. I'm really sorry, guys. Which sort of makes sense, but kind of a bitter end if it's true. I've heard that we could be signing to our formation man. Apparently he's very good on the ball. We spoke about him the last few shows, to be fair. Big up Bazian and Will from Mick. Good to see you, Mick. You need... All right, if you're trying to... I love it. Get them a statue. I mean, I am good. Apparently this is potentially... This could be an investment or it could be the sale of the shares. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought I'll put it up anyway. But for me, and I mean, these two fought for, I mean, Amanda especially, we know how much she was front and centre of the takeover. She was absolutely amazing before it, lead a year in the making of getting the takeover done. You know, the fans fought for the takeover. She fought for the fans. She was on Sky. She was taking pelters from that cretin on TalkSport. You know, we have a lot to thank her for and Mehrdad as well, especially when he's left the checkbook when Amanda flies out, because normally things happen when them two part ways when they're on the business trips. But it's sad, isn't it? I am actually quite sad that they're potentially leaving the club full time. I hope they're not. I hope she gets chance to look after the women's team, because she's been an advocate of that so well, and that seems to be moving in great directions. Faster than obviously the growth that's happening with the women's team is incredible. I would love her to still be part of that. What are your thoughts on it?
Obviously, what she's done to bring this football club back on the map was just absolutely remarkable. Being the driving force to get the deal done, and we can't thank her enough. Obviously, and Mehrdad as well. When you read between the lines, when our shares started, when she sold a small stake in our shares not so long ago, I kind of had a feeling something like this was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, we had an inkling, didn't we? We spoke about it, didn't we?
We did. Me personally, Baz, I think at times stood at Newcastle. I think she's been in place for a reason, and a very, very clever business perspective, and that's why she was brought into it as well, being the main person. I think it's always been the case that this will fall into place, in my opinion. I just think she's never had the money. We know she's never had the money to take this football club really forward. And I just think when you look back to actually how our football club was taken over, I think the Premier League would have rejected it if it was solely owned by PIF. I think it's been an absolute masterclass of her. So it's been like a third-party ownership put forward to the Premier League, and I just think it's a time scale. I know Amanda Staveley said a 10-year project, but that 10-year project turned around. That to me, when I look back at it now, I don't think that will involve Amanda Staveley, and I still think the Rubens won't be part of that eventually either. I think it will be solely owned by PIF. And I think it's another way to get round it. And I think it's an absolute masterclass on the business side, if it's the case. That's my opinion on it. I just think, our shares when we bought the football club would have been at a low price, and now obviously she's sold them now would be absolutely ridiculous what she's made profit on. Because I'm looking at it as a business side, and these people are coming in my opinion, to make this football club a massive business as well as a successful football club.
Yeah, you mentioned about the amount of money they made on the shares. I mean, the reason why they got the shares in the first place is because they brokered the deal, weren't they? They were kind of a gift from PIF. And you've nailed it on the head. And I think I said this in my video as well. These two they are wealthy people, but they're not wealthy business Rubens, PIF, owners wealthy, are they? And every time PIF want to invest, say, for example, 100 million, the Rubens have to put in 10 million, and these two have to put in 10 million. And they don't have that financial backing behind them, do they, to be able to do that? So technically, they are actually holding us back a little bit. And I think they knew that. And that's why they've sold the shares now and said, we've steadied the ship. We've got rid of the rat. We've got, this great guy in who's been at Monaco, Spurs, Southampton, the Red Bull team. He's basically Man United's first choice, and they've now got our first choice. It's great the way that it's worked out. So they've decided now is potentially the best time to sell the shares and say thank you very much. We can't take the club any further. We're obviously potentially holding you back when it comes to investment. So we'll step aside.
Yeah. And I think, like I've said, when she said a 10-year project, I'll repeat myself. I think it's the sole takeover of Newcastle United would take 10 years. And if you think about it now, that's 3 years with them, potentially another 3 years with the Rubens. And then we are going to be owned by PIF solely, which the Premier League were absolutely fearful for, which would not allow to happen in the first place. And I think it's an absolute masterstroke to get us to get around it in a way where it kind of the way football is now, in the way I'm looking at it, is a kind of, will it be forgotten about? And that's horrible to say. Do you know what I mean? Because people do forget about stuff like that, and I just think it's another way to put stuff under a carpet to get us in full control. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. Lee, I'm sure you think I live in a hermit shell or something, and I don't know about these things. I know about them hours before you send emails, pal. It's very rarely you get one over me. But keep sending the emails, but just wait for the show, mate. There's lots of things to come after this little discussion. Will, how are you sitting with, losing Amanda and Mehrdad? Is it great going forward, sad, but needs to be done sort of thing?
Yeah, I'd say there's mixed feelings. I mean, I definitely was expecting her to leave, but maybe not quite as early as she has done here. But my feeling was the same as you, Baz. I always thought her share was a gift for brokering the deal, like you said. And you very rightly point out that she doesn't have the same finances as the Rubens and the PIF, both much more wealthy than her. So your point about her and Mehrdad potentially holding us back financially, I think, is a very valid point. And I'd imagine, they might still go to games and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they still show up. But obviously, in terms of their running in the club, it looks like it's finished now. So my main feeling really is just to thank them, really, because I don't think the takeover would have happened without Amanda Staveley. So, you've just got to thank her for brokering that deal, for seeing the future with us, and I'm just very grateful that she managed to get the takeover over the line for us.
Yeah. And she speaks brilliantly. This is why I don't want her to leave the club full stop. I understand them selling the shares and not being a part owner. I would like to see them be in the backroom staff, or, like I say, take on the women's team. Because she's got that in a great direction. I don't know. I'm sure she's had quite a lot of involvement with them. The way that she always turns up to the game, she has the pictures taken after full time. She for me is like a marketing tool for us in a way, because the way that she loves the fans, it's whether PIF still want to have her, on the board or in a role where, I don't know if PIF have got a different direction they want to go into now. It's going to be very interesting on how it all pans out.
I think there could be a role there, even like, I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but a club ambassador, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what she's done with the women's team and stuff like that, I mean, the direction they're going in, I seen they just signed Demi Stokes from
huge signing.
former Lioness, won the Euros, so they're making big moves, obviously targeting promotion to the WSL, which I think might actually be able to help us with FFP as well. Somehow I did see something about that, but I didn't look too much into it. But look, the club's moving in a good direction, but sad to see them go.
See, this is the question I've asked quite a lot of people about PSL, is does the women's team count towards the men's team? And everyone keeps telling me, you're the first to say it does help, but everyone says to me it doesn't help. So I'm a bit confused on, because I've always said, if you get both these teams flying in the Champions League, that's massive revenue for the club. Now, surely it being under the same umbrella, it would help the men's team.
As far as I'm aware, it does help in some way. I haven't looked into the specifics of it, but I was reading the other day that you can use some of the finances from the women's team towards it. So I think it can only be a good thing.
I'm guessing sponsorship, crowd, that kind of stuff, like, ticket sales, match day revenue, that sort of stuff. And if you get, our team so quickly into the Premiership, then progress them into the Champions League. And we're seeing the women's gates at the Champions League are huge when you go to likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, and all those sort of stuff. So it can only be good for us. And I would love her to try and continue that on. Dom, the reason why there's been no news about the City case is it's all behind closed doors, mate, because of the nature of it. So we're not going to hear anything, which is a shame. We definitely, public face. But I think Darren Eales, I mean, would you agree with this, Will, that Darren Eales will step up and maybe be more of an Amanda role now that she's left? Or will be leaving, sorry?
That's who I'd imagine will sort of be front and centre of it, just from the way he interacts with the fans and stuff like that. That's who I imagine will take that role, I would think.
Yeah. I would think so. He seems to he did that with Atlanta, didn't he? In America, he seemed to have
Yeah.
a very hands-on approach, didn't he? And fans engagement. More random stories where that those two were being sent off to get a fee the club. I mean, from what I've been told, is the Red Bulls are going to have a very, very important impact on Newcastle, which will be very interesting. Like Milan to feed, yeah. I have seen that we also linked with Antonio Silva, Portuguese centre back, who would be another good option for us to look at. I have not heard anything about Antonio Silva. Have you, Will?
I did hear
For a
off.
while.
I did hear off one source that he's one to watch just yesterday, but I haven't had anything followed up on it.
Hi, Robbie. Hope you're well. Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment it is wait and see, isn't it? The way things transfers are going.
It seems to be that profile though. A young sort of European centre back seems to be, from all the links, Malik Tor and stuff like that. That seems to be what they're targeting.
I mean, Malik Tor has been on the lips of a lot of YouTubers and in the knows and all that sort of stuff for a while now, haven't they? Because it did break quite quickly as well, didn't it? It broke when we were over there, apparently looking at Tomori and other players, and then this tour came out of nowhere, really, and then everyone's been all over it. So Madrid will be feeling he comes out with some belters, he does. This one flew up. Italian reports say Newcastle are back interested in Newcastle since Juventus Salou as search for a right winger continues. Apparently 35 to 40 million euros would get him. Ian, is that a good move? Apparently Leicester made a formal offer, but it's been rejected. His name has come up in the past in our videos and live shows. Again, a young player, so you're putting a lot of emphasis on, do you keep Miggy and keep Murphy and have him developing in? Would he be your choice?
No, for me, no. Like I said on the shows before that, for me, there's only so many youth you can have. You've got to have an experienced one in there, roughly around the 25, 26-year-old, and just to keep your kids on a level playing field, because you'll get inconsistency, in my opinion. But I think depending on outgoings as well, and obviously the Saudi League opens next week, I think, doesn't it? The window.
And I think we confirmed it as, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think once that opens, and if there's any solid links of either Miggy going out there or Callum Wilson going out there, even Trippier going out there, I think that's when we'll start to move quite quickly to get these players in. It's like I say, it's dead quiet at the minute, isn't it? Then that's
very, very quiet.
For me, I think it's a godsend and all, because it's good to me. At times gets a little bit out of hand. So for that one, I'm not sure on that, mate. To be perfectly honest, Baz.
Just very quickly on this one, it's how Tristan HOW. Just so you know. And if you haven't watched the video, go and watch it, because I've already explained it, and I'm not going to explain it again if you haven't watched the video, because that's what the videos are for. Will, have you heard anything? I mean, we have spoke about him. I know it was a very long time ago we spoke about this young man. Is there any truth in this?
I mean, my honest thoughts with him is that I don't really see it happening, because I mean, he's quite young, no Premier League experience. I think in terms of a right wing, the three most concrete names I've been given is Neto, Bowen, and probably Somerville. And what do all them three players have in common? They've all got Premier League experience, and Neto and Bowen are both obviously older as well, age-wise. So for me, I just think I'd be very surprised if that one happened, just because of the profile of the player. And I think we need someone who's a bit more experienced, if you know what I mean. We need someone who can go straight in on the right wing, essentially, because in my opinion, Miggy or Murphy aren't good enough compared to the rest of the team, quality-wise. They can both do a shift, but neither of them should be the number one choice. So I'm still under the impression that we need a very good right winger, and I think it'll be someone with Premier League experience.
This is an interesting one, if true. Sane. I don't know if.
2 seconds.
I mean, I mean, I thought Sane was brilliant for Man City. Then obviously he left under a cloud at City to go to Bayern Munich. Be very, very interesting if that was a true link, because I haven't heard anything myself. Will.
No, I haven't heard anything on that one. Is he still at Bayern? Is he?
I believe so. Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything on him for a while. I do quite like him when he plays, but no, I haven't heard anything on that one.
I haven't either. There's probably a few people on Twitter. I don't know who they are though, but Ben's seen it flying around in about Sane. I mean, I was gutted for City in a way that he left. It was good for us because he obviously tore a lot of teams apart. But I was a big fan of watching him. I thought he was a very, very talented player. But obviously, you know, attitude problems.
Huge wages as well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing we've got to be careful of when we're being linked with players is do their wages fit our system? You know, unless they're going to take a big drop in wages. I mean, Son is probably on what, 250 a week or something, 300 a week.
The one that what keeps sticking out to me is Chiesa. Now he's on a very, very low. If the reports are right, Juventus are looking to offload him for about 25 million.
But again, his wages.
But if you're getting somebody in for 25 million of his caliber,
yeah, you take a hit on the wages potentially.
You take a hit on the wages. Now, if the reason why I'm going to bring this up is if you go in for Bowen, you're going to have to put him on a hefty price tag, and his wages are going to be absolutely ridiculous. So you take a hit in both directions. So that's the one for me where, like Will says, we're going to go in for a top right winger now. Someone like he is on a low transfer fee. Oh, that would be absolutely remarkable to bring someone in like that.
It will be. Got to be careful as well, though, because it's all right paying a low fee and giving high wages. What are the likes of Bruno, Trippier, and them on? Are they on a contract that says if someone comes in and betters our wages, does ours then jump up automatically and match them like Shearer had?
Yeah.
Got to be careful with that as well, haven't we?
We've got to go in a direction, mind of, we've got to buy players, not straight away, but we need to be moving forward and getting these players in that's going to come in. And we're beyond that £200,000 a week mark. And there's something where we're going to have to break that line to do that, whether it's this season or next season or whatever, but we're going to have to go down that route sometime.
Oh yeah, it has to happen if we want to compete and be top four regularly and have this squad depth of a Man City, a Chelsea. You know, it has to happen. Leroy Sané apparently on €384,000 a week.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, I can't see him moving to Newcastle, to be honest with you, unless he takes a massive.
Does he not play more off the left as well, Sané?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So again, why we don't need left-sided players? So unless he can play on the right, I think
he can, but I think his best position is probably. I always thought of him as a left winger, but unless I'm wrong, unless someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I always thought of him as.
Yeah, I always thought him as a left-sided winger as well. To be fair,
and I mean, I said the other day I would love the Bowen thing to be a smokescreen for Chiesa.
I would just love Bowen to come to Newcastle.
I actually don't think Bowen will happen, to be honest, with the sort of fee that West Ham will have. Yeah, I mean, this guy's under a contract till I think it's like 2030 or something. The sort of
got a contract
fee
for life,
West Ham are going to demand will be like huge. I mean, I know the recruitment team do really, really like him, but it's just I think the logistics of a deal would be so hard.
Yeah, and I mean, like I always go back to the Barella. I mean, the Barella one was just ridiculous. The transfer fee we put in for him, and a week and a half later was signed Tonali. So, and I can't wait. I've seen the pictures of him today, and he looks in great nick. I can't wait.
He does, doesn't he?
I really can't wait to see him play.
He looks like he's been on the Joe Linton plan.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
But
I love it.
he certainly hasn't been staying in England because he's got a cracking tan.
Yeah. Ferran Torres, we talked about him on the last show, didn't we? Because he popped back up again. But he's also Rafinha as well, isn't there? Because apparently Barca are bringing back somebody else, and that could free up Rafinha to leave. But again, wages.
These are such easy clicks for journalists. Just these right wing links that keep coming out. Ferran Torres, Rafinha, people like this. It's just the Spanish press and our fans are eating it up.
Because I mean, we would like to see them. To be fair, that's the thing.
I'd love to see it as well. I would love to see it.
It's just not going to happen, is it?
What I will say is, I don't know if it'll be a right wing or a centre back, but I do have a feeling, especially with the meetings that are supposedly going on this weekend, I have a feeling we'll have some concrete news by this time next week on at least one player.
He's been putting away Wetherspoons in his final bucket. We don't kill my dream.
Oh, what players are?
We're trying not to. Torres.
Oh.
Jade's half Spanish, half English. Obviously, she supports Spain. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But there we go. She loves Torres. Right, this was the other news that was mentioned in the chat. I did say I already had everything sorted out, as I always do. We're cooking behind the scenes, aren't we, really? I know, obviously, it's going to be sad to lose two public figures, but it's nice to have these guys who are going to be in the background doing the job brilliantly. Obviously, James is following Paul by the looks of things. And I don't know a lot about him, but he'll be director of performance, which I don't know who's currently had that role or whether that's a new role made for him. But it's just great to see the backroom staff going in the direction we all thought it was going to do when Ashworth took over.
Yeah, it's just obviously more great quality staff. I'd imagine, I'm not going to claim to know anything really about this guy, but I'd imagine it's something that was agreed when Paul Mitchell came in and has just went through now. So obviously the role he's looking at is director of performance. So what that entails, I guess we'll find out. I'm not exactly sure, but it looks like he's a very good quality person. Obviously been to Monaco, stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see. But look, it can only be a good thing these people were getting in. They do seem to be of a very high caliber. And now that obviously PIF with Staveley leaving and stuff like that are going to be taking more control, these are only going to want the best of the best. So I'd imagine anyone coming in are going to be of a very good quality.
Yeah, and Amanda Staveley never spent a week at Manchester City for nothing, by the way. And you can see the direction what this football club's going in from an outside. If you look how far we've been behind the times when we've had Mike Ashley as owner. And I mean, if you look at all these positions that's been filled, I know Peter Silverstone, when he first came in, I think there was 20 people working in an office with him, and at Arsenal he had over 200. Now that's just on a commercial side. So this module, what Newcastle United is going through, and you can clearly see what they're doing, is just unbelievable. The strides we're taking off the football pitch to make our football team great is just absolutely, it's brilliant what they're doing, and it's going to take time. And as you can see, day by day, there's new people getting appointed. There's new sponsorship deals getting put in place. There's other things in the background, what we found out we're not allowed to say, that are going to be put into place, which is just so exciting. And again, you've got to thank Amanda for doing this, because as a business person, she must be absolutely remarkable. Or PIF wouldn't have trusted her to do this, because it's a huge deal. I just think it's absolutely remarkable what she's done, and to leave the way she has in this football club in the right hands is just brilliant.
Yeah, looks like Hobby Barnes has took Matt Ritchie's number. I don't think I wouldn't look any deep into that. It's just he's got the number 11 shirt, which is quite an iconic shirt. Like Gary says, it's just Ritchie's old number, isn't it? So I don't think changes the playing dynamic, does it? Gordon will still be first choice. Barnes will be an impact player. Them two. We always said we wanted two for every position, didn't we? Then the left wing is the strongest position we've got, to be fair, because you've also still got this man to think about as well, haven't we? He's back fit.
Yeah.
He's going to be like a new signing, isn't he, this season? When we think about it.
I mean, quickly on numbers there, Baz. To me, numbers become personal. To some people, obviously, Bruno with his number because of his dad's taxi.
Yeah.
We give Joe Linton the number 9 shirt, the iconic number 9, and even Joe Linton went, "I'm not a centre forward, mate. I don't deserve this shirt." And give it to Callum Wilson. So shirts that are relevant to me doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, numbers are irrelevant these days. Yeah. But we all have our favourite number growing up as well. Mine was always number 8. That's why I always like to wear number 8. That's a warning to all you guys in the friendly charity match. I will be wearing number 8 if there's numbers available.
Yeah, but having that man back again,
it's huge, isn't he?
Huge player for Newcastle United. Huge player.
There's a lot of people still saying we should sell him.
God, no, come on. What, to keep Sean Longstaff?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I do like Sean.
But this kid, when he's at his best, on a different level altogether.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's up there, in my opinion, of one of the top midfielders in the country when he's on. I think he's fantastic.
His ball carrying ability is second to none, isn't it, Will?
Yeah, I think if and when Joe Willock gets back into the team, there's going to be some people eating their words that were calling for him to be sold this summer, because I just think there's such a good quality player in there. I mean, even Sean in a terrible Steve Bruce side, he still scored goals, because that just shows the quality that he has. And under the coaching of Eddie Howe, you can just see the overall improvement. His ball carrying, his athleticism, the amount of ground he covers just frees up more space for Bruno. When that midfield, and I think we'll see it similarly with Tonali as well, but when you've got the energy in the midfield, the likes of Joe Linton, people like that, it actually gives Bruno more space and more time to pick out them passes and play how he likes to play. So I think at times last season we did suffer not quite having the midfield balance that we were probably looking for. And I think at the start of next season, when we have Tonali back, Willock back, I think our midfield is going to be, well, just so much better next season.
Yeah.
And that's without even bringing anyone in.
Yeah.
I agree. Who's after this kid, Kubu? Because it's not us, but he's Real Sociedad midfielder, isn't he? I did hear his name being mentioned to a Premier League club, but I can't remember who. I mean, I've never seen him play, so I don't know the answer to that question, I'm afraid. Did anybody seen anything of him, or Will, Ian?
Nothing, mate.
I've only heard what other people have said. It seems to be quite highly rated, but I haven't. I don't really watch too much of the Spanish league.
No, nor do I. I used to, but not anymore. But Japanese, I'm sure he was mentioned at West Ham or somewhere like that, or Leicester.
Yeah, it could be somewhere like
that. Kept playing. So I'm afraid we don't have any information on him, but apparently he's very highly sought after. It's all I can give you on that one. I've never seen him play, so he plays for Japan, doesn't he? So they're not in any competitions at the moment either, so can't even watch any international football to see if he's any good or not. Go on YouTube, but you only get to see the best bits, don't you? Right. Jonathan David has come back into the conversation again, Will. It's a player that I do like. But again, is it true or is it just clicks?
I actually think this one probably has more truth behind it, the sort of profile that he is. But again, it will probably depend on Wilson going, to keep repeating myself. But this is one that I could see. I think he has got the quality. I think he's a really good player. Even if you compare his stats to Isaac, he's actually very similar to Isaac. That said, in a lesser league, so we don't know how he'd adapt to the Premier League. But he's got all the right qualities. He's good finisher, quick, things like that. Quite agile. So I really hope something comes of this, because I rate him really highly. And if we had him and Isaac, I think as a pairing, there wouldn't be. I mean, maybe Man City, Alvarez and Haaland, but there wouldn't be many better duos in the Premier League. I don't think if we got that striking duo. And in my opinion, in Isaac, we've already got probably the second best striker in the league. One of the best in the world as well. So if we can get David as well, then I think that'll be absolutely great.
And that's the kind of progress we need to see. The only thing that worries me is we don't have Champions League football. So
Yeah.
you know, that's going to be.
If you remember a show we did all the way back in January, Baz.
Yeah.
I brought up Jonathan David. Can you remember that one?
No, I can't. There's been that many.
Right. It was on the same show. It was on the same show when we were on about Garizi.
Yes. Okay.
Right. And I got wind who were interested in Jonathan David in January. And like I've said, we've got a habit of going back into players that
We have.
Right, and we've done it with Botman. So, and I mean, is it Kev Lawson? Because of Kev Lawson on Twitter, he done it absolutely. He does all the details of the players, and I think he's very, very good what he does. And if you look at the way he puts things across, I just think David, he's just. I think for the value that you'll get, to me, it's like an Isak deal for me. The value that he'll get, what he'll bring to the football club will be second to none. And I agree with Will. He's finishing and everything's just absolutely tip-top. And he hopefully might be looking to get into the Premier League. And if we are solely interested in him, again, it'll all depend on what happens when the Saudi window opens, in my opinion, what direction we are going to take to get these footballers in, who's allegedly been linked to go over there. But I think we'll act fast as well. Eddie Howe said he will act fast in this window only when the opportunities arise. And at this present time, the meeting will play a big part. And I just think once things happen after this meeting and the window's open, I think we will move forward quite quickly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
On the striker as well, I can confirm pretty much. Well, I can't say who it's from, but it's pretty much from as close to the source as you can get. Callum Wilson's been in talks with West Ham and also 2 Saudi clubs, so I think there's still quite a strong possibility that he could leave. And obviously we know the Saudi window is opening soon. I can't remember what the exact date is, or is it already open?
Well,
is it 17?
They can talk to players, but they can't officially sign them until the 17th.
So I still think Wilson could potentially leave as well. So yeah.
I do think Wilson will go now. I think the South now Pip's taking more control. I think they want to be ruthless. I think they want to get rid of the old guard a little bit, you know, while they've got some value, which is why I think we still could see Trips go. There's a lot going off the pitch for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Trippier. I'll be happy if he stays, but you know, I think he wants 2 years where we're only offering him a year. So do we cash in and get 12.5 million for him, 15 million, something like that? I know Ian's like, oh God, because we'll lose his experience and all this sort of stuff. But you've got to start thinking a bit more long term now, haven't we, rather than short term.
I've seen another little bit of a naughty thing and all with Trippier that he was supposed to go in January, and I'll not say it. You know, yeah.
So is that what was in the group today?
Yeah, well, I was saying from the group today.
Yeah.
Apparently, got to be careful what we say.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is what I'm really excited about, and I think this is why I think there's a lot gone wrong with PSR, and this is why a lot of the changes are happening as well. And they're trying to get the backroom staff more, who are. I don't want to say they've got. They're better than Amanda and all, but they will be because they'll have more experience of running a football club, where Amanda and Mehrdad don't have the experience, and Piff don't have the experience of running a football club. And this is why they're getting the right people in now. You know, PSR nearly cost us a big player. We were lucky that we ended up sort of losing Anderson and Minter, but apparently the Saudis aren't happy with that because they were the young talent coming through and they wanted to really keep them. But there's a very good growing confidence that Isaac, Bruno and Anthony Gordon will be going nowhere in this window. And I think Piff would probably spoke to them and said, you're going nowhere, to be completely honest with you. We're building the team around you guys. The three names that you have mentioned do come up quite often in a lot of the tweets at the moment. Will Neto, Somerville, but Mbeumo is another name that's been popping up, who I mentioned a long, long time ago, saying that he could be the answer to the right wing. I think he's more likely than Bowen, isn't he, when you think about it? Somerville's a strange one because he's a left winger, not a right winger.
Yeah, I still think Neto's probably the most likely out of all of them. But again, like I say, we haven't really had anything that concrete. And I think with the transfers, there's a lot of factors that have contributed to probably why we are moving late in the market and why we're not seeing as many links. For example, we know obviously the Staveley stuff that's come out now. The fact that Mitchell's only just come in, the PSR issues, transfer meetings still to come, the fact that the Euros is still on, so any potential outgoing for Trippier can't be done anyway, well, realistically. So I think there's a lot of factors that have contributed to the fact that we're moving slow in the market, which is probably why there is a lack of concrete links. But like I say, I think Neto would probably be the most likely out of the ones, but I still wouldn't be surprised if we see something out of the blue like we did with Isaac, something like that. But like as Ian mentioned, and you've mentioned as well, Baz, I think we are really going to go for someone of top quality on that right side. Just looking at the rest of the team, I think that's the position. If we can get a good right winger in, you look at that starting 11 and you think they can beat anyone if they play well.
Absolutely agree. Like I said, I think the right wing is the missing link for our forward play, isn't it? Because everything went down the right wing, and then when Gordon became as good as he did, everyone started going down the left wing, and we started forgetting about the right wing, which imbalanced our attack a lot because Trippier was one of the main reasons why we were so good down the right-hand side, and he wasn't seeing the ball as much either. So it's going to, I think, a top-class right winger is a must. I like Mbeumo, don't get me wrong, but Tony could be leaving Brentford, so I can't see Brentford wanting to lose both of them. I think that would be too much for them, and that could really put them in a relegation battle next season. Somerville for me is a left winger as well. It's very strange, that link. I know his quality. He was the best player in the Championship last season, but is he going to take us into that top four? I don't think so.
For me, if you bring in Somerville, you have to bring in someone else as well. But then Somerville wouldn't be my first choice. Definitely not as that out-and-out option. Even Neto, you've got the injury record concerns, which is, like I say, that's why I'm not convinced we have actually seen anyone really concrete yet. And obviously, as soon as I do get anything, you'll be the first one to know as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I've been sent a text message from Leslie about the role of, is it Bonce? Is that how you pronounce his name? Bonce's role?
I think it is, isn't it? Is it
Bunces? It's spelled. It looks like Bonces, doesn't it? Under the direction of Sporting Director Paul Mitchell, the role will see James focus on injury prevention and risk reduction, monitoring physical preparation, performance, medical, nutritional, and physiological aspects.
Yeah, so there you go.
His role. So yeah,
that's a huge appointment then.
Yeah, and the way we were last season, he's got a big job on his hand, hasn't he?
He's going to earn his coin, isn't he?
Everyone keeps bringing this up every week about Sancho, and I'm sorry, but no, Fergus, no, because of his wages. He's on ridiculous wages at Man United. He's not going to take a pay cut to come to Newcastle. Well, if he does, then brilliant. And the only reason we aren't learning more than this is Love Island is on. Well, I'm going to say this again. Will got kicked out of Love Island. Boo. But he was a dick, so it was his own fault.
That's not very nice to me, Baz.
Hey, I love it.
I think it's Will with one L, isn't it? His name.
Is it? And
I've never seen that before.
No. Maybe he was just trying to be one of them.
Yeah, maybe just trying to be different.
Yeah, just trying to be one of them, wasn't he? But he went to Casa Amor and he cheated on his missus back at the main villa. And then he said, well, when you're on a lad's holiday, it's absolutely fine. So he absolutely screwed himself. And then the bird that he was with kept the door open for this other guy, even though she said she didn't want to go anywhere near him. And then because of that, they got kicked out. It was brilliant. That was just like, there you go. Suck on those eggs. That's what we need. Can't have a season like last, definitely not. But 300k a week apparently is on. So yeah, unless he drops 80 grand, there's no chance he's coming to us. And plus, Man United wouldn't. Let's face it, the relationship we've got with Man United now, it's as worse as it could ever be. I can't see us doing anything to do with them. Right, want to take some questions from you guys in the chat, but before I get to them, hit the subscribe button. Membership link is open at the top of the chat if you want to become a member. It really helps us because it just pays for the channel to run itself, and then we try and give money to charity. Code BAZ 20% off for Diacro. Absolute amazing bespoke t-shirts. Link is in the description. Buy something. They're amazing. And Football Prizes do amazing bespoke raffles. They do things like private jets to England games and stuff like this as well. Loads of signed shirts for every single club, but obviously we focus on the Newcastle side of things. And it is definitely 100% happening. I've even got some boots. I bought some boots. I know, I can't believe it. Stanley Deaf Club against Through Black and White Eyes, Sunday the 4th of August. It's 3 p.m. kickoff. Get down to the ground. The amount, Sue basically, who's the mother of Kieran, she is literally going to every single company, getting as many prizes as possible for this tombola. She's got like weekends in the caravan at Whitley Bay. She's got £100 vouchers to B&M, you know, £100 voucher to this sort of stuff. So that the prizes we're going to have on hand are going to be amazing. There's going to be a raffle with Shearer shirts. Steve, who's a friend of mine, is going to be playing in the game. He's going to try and get some stuff from Sean Longstaff because he knows him, and also Paul Dummett, hopefully. So hopefully we'll have more amazing prizes, and it's all to raise a deaf awareness and also to help funding for Stanley Deaf Club and also the football club that Kieran plays for, because there is actually no funding whatsoever in this area. You know, being deaf is something that you can't help. Sometimes you're born with it. Sometimes it just happens to you. And there's no funding for it. It's accepted, isn't it? It's not even talked about. It's just like it's a normal thing when it really isn't. You know, can you imagine just losing your hearing and then you're screwed? So these places like Stanley Deaf Club are amazing. You know, they give these guys a place to go and talk to each other and learn things and go on trips and basically do, you know, normal stuff. So please help out if you can. Newcastle Benfield are putting on the day. You know, we're going to have cheap beer, hopefully have a PlayStation set up for a FIFA tournament as well while we're on the pitch absolutely dying. There'll be food available. There'll be a few, hopefully, Newcastle faces down there as well, like Nobby Solano. And hopefully we'll get Dan Byrne to turn up as well. So there's lots and lots going on. So please help us out if you can. And come and watch in, ping the ball to me and watch me make a fool of myself, basically. That's what he's promised. Right, what have we got? Not for me. Go ahead. Right. How long do you think Rubens will be involved with the club in light of Amanda and her husband going, considering their ownership of land in Newcastle? Personally, I think they're going to be around much, much longer. Maybe potentially for a new stadium coming in or something along those lines. But they're rich enough to carry on their 10%. And they've got a bit more now, haven't they? They got 12.5% now. Is that right? Something along those lines?
Yeah.
So I think they could be potentially for a very long time until maybe the PIF make an offer that they can't refuse to sell their shares, and then they get the majority basically and have a full takeover. But I would like to see them stay. What are your thoughts, Ian?
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier on, I think this 10-year project involves both of them to part company in time. I would say another 5-year, and I think they'll be gone as well. And then I think it'll be solely owned after 5 years, and hopefully a new stadium built within that. I think once this new stadium becomes in place, I think the Rubens will say, "Look, we've played our part. There's your stadium. That's your new platform. Over to you, Piff."
Love it. Will, what about you?
I think Ian could be onto something there. I could see the PIF having full ownership within a few years' time, but I think we've probably got at least another few years of the Rubens. Of obviously, with the stadium, that's probably the biggest priority right now. Obviously, with their experience and things like that, so I can see them staying for at least another 3 or 4 years.
I think maybe a bit longer. But again, they've got the clout behind them as well because they can invest the amount. So as long as they're still comfortable doing that, I think that partnership could.
Yeah, they've got the money.
Different. Yeah, exactly.
As a business side, though, can you imagine the Rubens building this new stadium? What they've got going into their bank through that stadium, I know that they would just take their wealth to the next level. By the way, so again, very very cute business people. I just think, I think it's a huge project plan. I really do.
All right, Paul. We did that. We actually did this last week. Mine was realistic was Bowen, and my dream signing was Cover. What was yours, Ian?
Is a right winger what I've seen.
Realistic and dream.
Realistic. Go to Will and I'll come back.
Can you remember what you said last week, Will? Because I can't.
I think I said Farah as well for the dream one.
Yeah, I think you did.
I suppose realistic. I do like Neto when he's fit. I do like Pedro Neto. I think he's a threat, but it's just that whole thing with the injuries. But yeah, hopefully, if we do get him, hopefully we can keep him fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realistic, I'll go Chiesa.
What about your dream?
It's so difficult because they're all in the same bracket. What we've been talking about, because signing on that right hand side, probably I can't even pronounce him from Napoli. I'll let you pronounce his name. I could pronounce his proper name.
Kavazovic.
Nah, that'll do. I think he's fantastic. Really
he's quality.
Would you class Nico Williams as a
dream signing or a realistic one?
Nico Williams plays on the left side for Spain, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
And to be honest, when I've watched Spain, I think he's been an absolute live wire, and you can see why interest is in him. I think he's very, very, very tricky player. Very, very good. But again, he's on huge wages. But it's I think he's quality. Really, really good. I like Kingsley Coman as well. I think Coman's a fantastic player as well.
What about Lamine Yamal for Spain on the right hand side?
Again, top player.
Brilliant player.
Brilliant player.
But I mean, you're never going to get him, are you? From Barcelona.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, I like Kingsley Coman. Me, when Coman's fit, I think he's a fantastic player. Me.
Yeah, I like Coman.
Very, very good player.
If you could pick 3 players for us this window, who would they be? For me, Owana, an uppercomer. I think that's what he means. Or who's that? I don't know who that is. And Rafinha, if Wilson's gone for a decent price, I'd love David as well. There's no centre back there, is there?
Yeah, for me, Thou all day long. For me,
yeah,
I just think his potential as a young player is huge. It's huge, and if you look at his stats and everything, what he can bring going forward and under the right coaching, he had a stinking season last year, but everybody's when you read about him, and I just think him as a centre half, it'll be absolutely perfect for him and Botman. I really do. And for the value, and like Will says, and we all can say, you can always get a deal out of an Italian side. And AC Milan always like to do deals. So I think that one could be really, really concrete on that one.
So up in Meccano is a defender, 25. I didn't. French, is he any good?
He played for Bayern Munich, doesn't he?
Yeah, Bayern Munich, yeah. Is he up for sale? Is he? I mean, I've never heard his name mentioned at all, to be fair. But again, could be a quality player.
The three players I would go Thou, David, and Chiesa.
Who was the Dutch lad that scored? It was Simeons, wasn't he? He's very good.
I thought Pickford should have done better with that. He didn't even get off the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got beat by the pace of the shot, to be fair.
If you look, Pickford's normally quite agile, and he's very good at. if he gets stuff quite. I just thought he didn't get off the bottom very good, mate. I thought he could have done better.
We're saying he was slightly obscured by the dive from Walker.
I mean,
who cares about that? Short arms.
He's not the tallest either, is he? In terms of goalkeepers.
Do you know what it is? I've said on shows before. I think he's absolutely brilliant goalkeeper, mate. Jordan Pickford, and Sunderland, whatever. I think he's up there, one of the best about.
To be honest, I don't think there's anything he can really do about that goal. I just think it's probably one where if he was a couple of inches taller, he'd probably have saved it, but there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, normally he is very agile, but
yeah,
I think he's been very good this tournament, I have to say.
Yeah, very, very good.
I agree. If I wanted to see 3 players, who would I want? And
Bowen's one.
Well, Bowen is definitely one, but that's unrealistic, isn't it? Because of everything that's going on. It's a tough one. I mean, the positions I'd like to see.
I'll go the same as Ian.
Back, right winger, striker. They're the 3 positions we need to fill.
I think for mine, I'd probably go the same. If I could, I'd probably go the same as you, Ian. I think.
I just think
maybe Neto on the right, but and again, I think Chiesa is brilliant as well. So
yeah,
either or.
Neto's injured. Both Neto and Chiesa worry me with injuries. That's the only thing, and that's why I like Bowen so much, because he's always fit.
Yeah. So was Joe Willock though. You know, Joe Willock's had a horror season of injuries. He had these hamstring injury. What he came back from was absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, look at Tino Livramento, ACL, and if you look at Tino Livramento, he's had a hamstring operation. Have you seen the scar on his leg of his hamstring operation?
No.
God, it's huge. It's absolutely yeah. So he's another one and everybody just forgets about that. So
yeah. I've never forgot about it. I remember people talking about it.
You've got to remember now, though, when these players are coming back from injury, the scientists, the people that have got around them, the physiotherapists are on a different level now to what they were, I would say, 2-3 seasons ago, because everything's moving with the times, and I think sometimes they come back better players.
But this sounds like what Bunce is coming in to do with the injuries. It sounds like he's coming in to reduce them and things like that. Even if you look at, say, Man City, they're the ideal. I think Man City gets some of the least injuries in the league all the time, and that's not just pure luck. That's based off the staff and facilities they have. Obviously, we know that some injuries are freak injuries that you can't prevent. For example, the Harvey Barnes one last season, the Jacob Murphy one where he did his shoulder. You can't do anything about them ones, but especially the muscle injuries, you can definitely prevent them or make them not quite as bad with facilities and having the right stuff in place.
Yeah,
and it's also managing the time as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's where the squad comes into it.
Do that. Yeah,
the more we progress and the better our squad gets, in theory, the less injuries we should have. Because especially this season with no Europe as well, we should. Fingers crossed, it should be a lot better.
Yeah, and this is why I reiterate what I said before and repeat what I said. Amanda Staveley was at Man City's ground for a whole week. This is they're putting a module in place from the best, and I think this is what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. There's 3 great players I wouldn't mind saying, to be fair: Mamadou, Hussein, and Kava. That fills all the spots, doesn't it? Hussein is a name that's gone very quiet from Juventus. I don't know if they're still interested in selling him.
Yeah, I did see that they are looking to sell him, I believe. So whether something can be done there, potentially. Also, obviously, you've got Antonio Silva as well. It seems to be that young European centre-back that they're looking for. Yeah. It does seem to be that player.
Yeah, I think we've got to take more of a gamble. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but we've got to take more of a gamble going abroad and bringing players in. I know Howe likes these Premier League proven players to hit the ground running, but you add an extra 10, 15 million onto prices, don't you, when you buy Premier League proven players, and especially English ones as well. You end up paying a premium that at this present time with PSR is, that if you buy 3 players who are Premier League proven in English, you could potentially buy 4 foreign players because the extra money that you've paid. So I think Howe's got to start trusting the people in the background who are scouting these players abroad and start trusting to bring them in, and then he does his work to get them up to Premier League standard.
And I think everyone would agree that our best two signings since the takeover have been Isaac and Bruno, and neither of them were from the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
And both of them came as quite unknown quantities. I mean, even Isaac wasn't exactly on a great run when we bought him, and we paid a big fee. A lot of people were questioning that. They're not questioning it now, are they?
No. Even Botman. Botman's in that same bracket as well.
Yeah, even Botman.
Yeah. I love it. But Hall and Gordon don't slip right into time. Yeah, it did take time for them too as well. To get up to the Eddie Howe way of things. Is Bound now running out with bone? I think Marley has the same injury as Barnes had.
It's
right, Barnes and Peter
Miley's is a metatarsal one, isn't it? Barnes wasn't.
Barnes was one. I mean, if you think about our squad as well and you look at it, we are only 3 players away from an excellent 11, a top 4 11 in my eyes. And then you just need to improve that squad depth for players coming on and changing games and when there's injuries to come in and be able to fit in well like Man City do. We've got the left-hand side sorted out. We've got to get the right-hand side sorted out. Then we just need a few more extra in defence. Goalkeepers are a bit of a strange situation at the moment because we've got 5 on the books now, haven't we, or 6?
Yeah.
Because Karius hasn't left yet and Dubs are still there.
Yeah, I do get the feeling they might just delay the goalkeeper for another year. Not necessarily. They could well go back in for Trafford, but I think if they do try for Trafford and it doesn't quite work, I think they might take a risk and just maybe delay it another year. But we are going to have to sort it out at some point because we need. I mean, Nick Pope's a great number 1, but I'm not sure if Lacademos is the answer as a number 2. I'm not, and Dubravka's obviously getting on as well. So
yeah, and his Pope shoulder injury going to happen again? If it does happen, we're fucked.
Yeah, it's a big risk if we do go into it. It
feels like a huge risk, but they seem to have. I mean, this guy was scouted that we got from Forest when he was at Benfica. We wanted him 4 years ago. So what's changed? Why are Forest fans saying he's so bad, but yet he was brilliant for Benfica? It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's probably just form, though. The same with Trafford, isn't it? It's probably. I mean, football's quite fickle. I'd imagine he's still got all the same qualities, and if we can get him in the right environment and stuff like that, maybe he can be a good player for us. This is where you've got to trust your scouts.
Yeah, I agree. So the meeting starts tomorrow, Will. I heard it's 3 days, is that right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're going to be having a 3-day meeting, basically.
Yeah, Friday to Sunday. And at Castle, I'd imagine all the main people are going to be there. Mitchell, obviously, I'd imagine members of the PIF will be there. Rubens probably. So yeah, it's all happening, which is why I obviously hinted earlier in the show that I think by this time next week, I'd be surprised if we haven't had at least something concrete, whether that's a bid, whether that's starting talks with a player or something. I do feel like we'll get some big news within the next week. Obviously, probably early next week, and Euro's finishing on Sunday as well, so everyone's going to be available then. I know Danny Olmo's obviously got that release clause extension has just happened until it was the 15th, now the 20th. I think he's also a brilliant player, but I think there's a lot of top clubs in for him. So, but whether he's one they would look at, I don't know.
Wow, apparently that great goalkeeper had a 60 million release clause a few years ago.
There you go.
Where was that at? Benfica?
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, but they've got a habit of putting absolutely ridiculous release.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Have they got the same rules? Has Portugal got the same rules as Spain though? Because I'm pretty sure in Spain you have to have one in.
Yeah.
So people just like that Yamal will just have like a £1 billion release clause or something stupid like that. Yeah,
it's a security net so that they've got a good goalkeeper and they just go away. Nobody's going to pay that because they haven't got the money to do it. I mean, there's only a couple of clubs in Portugal that can actually do that, which will be Sporting and Benfica. The rest of them they will not have the finances to even go anywhere close to that.
It's like a hands-off, isn't it? Like a hands-off release clause. But if you're willing to pay it, then good luck to you. But then again, the ball's in their court if they want to sell the player, they can say, well, the release clause is 60 million, we might take 40 million, and then the negotiations start, don't they? So,
Yeah.
which will go, I'm not sure right back when we went to tickle his ears. Yeah. If anyone doesn't know Magpies Unite, he's on Twitter. He's a really good lad. Likes to find players of similar qualities of the ones that we're being linked with. So please go and check his account out because he's a good lad. De Gea, no, don't want to go anywhere near De Gea. Past it for me. But yeah, very much past it. Anything we missed, Will? Can you think of anything that's popped on? As Faye said, it's very quiet. We're not going to be forcing things out there. That's not true. So,
again, I think we've covered most of it. Obviously, players back in training today. I'm sure people saw
yeah,
all about that. So maybe I do have a couple of sources that are in contact with some of the players. So maybe we might start to hear a couple more snippets or something like that. Let's hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think we've covered most of the main news. Unfortunately, a lot of the news has been around the staff and the running of the club when we really want some juicy transfer stuff. But I think the show next week I'm hoping is going to be a great one.
me too. I mean, they're all great. Don't get me wrong, but we want to sign in, don't we? We want to get excited over something.
Yeah, exactly. We want something to actually. We don't just want to be discussing potential options. We actually want to know that someone's coming in.
I'm just trying to find out this person's position because someone's asked it, and I don't actually know it, to be honest with you.
Who is it?
Olma. Is that how you pronounce it?
Danny Olmo, I think.
Yeah, Olmo. What's his age? 26. I didn't realise he was that old. I thought he was younger.
I'd imagine
Attacking
he's
midfielder, left winger,
more of a number 10. Yeah, number 10.
Yeah, I'd say number 10.
But I think he's quite versatile, I think.
He looked good, to be fair. Is he the one who scored the goal that was given as an own goal when it shouldn't have been an own goal?
I think
Is that
so.
right?
I think it, yeah. Was it given as an own goal, then got changed?
Yeah, then got changed, yeah, because great touch inside the box for intercepting.
First touch was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Great game, that one as well. But he can play across the whole front.
He is versatile, yeah.
Yeah. Which again is something which would benefit Howe because you can then move him into, move the team around as well. So wasn't that
Paul Mitchell's already signed him?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why someone mentioned it. Didn't Romano come out and say this is his release clause and this is when it's open till? Someone put on it grass. I thought it was brilliant. I was just like, oh my god, that was
that's what Romano does, though. He
does.
wants to see. He did the same with Bruno. He was making sure to let everybody know when that expires. Yeah. He was probably on the phone to Man City asking them if they triggered it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, to be fair. I mean, we heard so much stuff about that, and then it's all done with. If they want to buy him, good luck.
Yeah.
Right, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know there's not great news out there, but we could throw names out there left, right, and centre and talk about them, but we only want to talk about names that we know potentially that we could get. We don't want to be throwing out rubbish, and this is why we think next week's show, so hopefully next Thursday. I'll have to check my schedule. I'm sure we'll be good for next Thursday as well. Does anyone know when the away shirt is coming out? Oh, Will, have you got any information on that yet before we end it?
I think the only information I've seen on the kits, which I don't know if it is correct, but it was home kit June, away kit some point in July, so some kit sometime this month, and then the third kit sometime in August. So all I can say is that sometime this month, hopefully.
It's coming.
Yeah. What they tend to do is they'll have the home kit on one day of the seller weekend, and then they have the away kit on the weekend of the seller. So
yeah, so you'd imagine it'll be out by then.
Yeah, it'll be out before.
Yeah, you can imagine they want people in the shop, won't they, on that seller day. So you can imagine a new kit. They'll make an absolute fortune if they do.
I wouldn't even be surprised. Actually, on that point, they might even have the third kit out by then because they'll just want to. They'll probably want to maximise as much revenue as possible, won't they?
Yeah. The cash registers will be flowing. Everyone will be skint, going back to work, living on baked beans and jacket potatoes. That's exactly what I'll be doing.
Not wrong, not wrong with jacket tatties, boss.
Oh, I love that. I love jacket tatties and beans. I lived on them plenty of times when I was skint. Put a bit of cheese on it if you've got a little bit of extra money. A bit of cheese on top, or a fried egg.
You know, fried egg.
Yeah, fried egg on top of beans and cheese. Yeah, really nice.
God.
Try it. There's some culinary expertise for you.
You'll be one of these that eat super noodle sandwiches, dear.
Oh, definitely not. No, whose idea was that?
That's a Magaluf wheat bait, that. When you got away with the lads eating super noodle sandwiches.
Something you put on the end of a rod and try and catch some trout, I think. Right, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you, hopefully. There'll definitely be next Thursday. I've checked my schedule, so Thursday again. And hopefully we'll have some brighter news for you. But enjoy your weekend, everyone, and get drunk because it's coming home.